Endowments are a unique form of life insurance that resemble whole life insurance with an early maturity date. Endowment contract versus life policy. A permanent life insurance policy matures, or endows, when its cash value equals its face amount. If the insured is still alive at maturity, the cash value is paid to the policy owner and the coverage terminates. With an endowment contract, the cash value grows rapidly and the policy matures well before age 120. Popular endowment maturity dates include 10 or 20 years following policy issue, age 21, college planning, and age 65, retirement planning. Endowment policy face amounts can be distributed in two ways. As a death benefit payment to the beneficiary if the insured dies before the endowment maturity date. As a lump sum distribution to the policy owner at the endowment maturity date if the insured is alive then. Uses of endowments. Endowment policies were once very popular. Favorable income tax rules at the time let endowments be treated the same as traditional whole life insurance, meaning policy distributions were income tax-free. They were a way to build a guaranteed amount of money on a tax-free basis and were often bought to fund children's education or to supplement retirement savings. Example. A $50,000 endowment at age 65 policy would build a cash value that reached $50,000 at age 65. If the insured died before age 65, the $50,000 death benefit would be paid tax-free to the beneficiary. If the insured was alive at age 65, the $50,000 face amount would be paid tax-free to the policy owner. The decline of endowments. The popularity of endowment contracts ended in 1986, following passage of federal legislation in 1984 that effectively stripped endowment policies of the favorable income tax treatment generally accorded life insurance. By defining life insurance, for tax purposes, as a product that endows no earlier than age 120, 95 in the case of universal life, the law made endowment distributions subject to federal income taxation. Though still available, endowments are no longer a popular way to accumulate money. Notably, endowment contracts issued before 1986 were grandfathered, thus retaining their favorable tax treatment, and some continue in force today. Endowments are not modified endowment contracts. Traditional endowment policies should not be confused with the modified endowment contract, MEC. Created with the same tax legislation that stripped endowments of their favorable tax treatment, modified endowment contract is a label assigned to any permanent life insurance policy that is paid up, through high premium payments, in 7 years or less. The target of the legislation was the single premium life insurance policy. MECs lose some, though not all, of the favorable tax treatment enjoyed by life insurance. MECs are addressed more thoroughly in the life insurance taxation lesson. For your review. An endowment policy is essentially a life insurance policy that matures before age 120. Age 65 was common. Since 1986, endowments no longer qualify as life insurance for federal tax purposes. While available for special purposes, they no longer have popular appeal. Endowment policies sold before 1986 were grandfathered and still retain favorable tax treatment. Do not confuse an endowment policy with a modified endowment contract, MEC, which is life insurance that is paid up in 7 years or less.
Alright, this is going to be a short and sweet video. Why do endowment contracts not enjoy the same favorable tax treatment as life insurance? They do not build cash values. Which statement is correct about the tax treatment of distributions from endowment policies? They are subject to federal income taxation. A typical endowment policy is essentially a life insurance policy that matures before the insurer reaches age. I'm going to say, was it 72 or 120? I don't know. Endowment contracts are not considered life insurance for tax purposes because, well, this one says 120, so we'll go here. They endow before age 20. They do not pay a death benefit if the insured dies before the contract matures. I want to say cash values. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I got two right. Okay, so endowment contracts do not enjoy the same favorable tax treatments because they mature before age 120. Endowment contracts build cash values quickly. This one I got correct. They are subject to federal income taxation. They are a product that endowed no earlier than age 120 to 95 in the case of universal life. Federal law made endowment distribution subject to federal tax. This one I got correct. Endowment is essentially a life insurance policy that matures before 120. Endowment contracts are not considered life insurance because they endow before age 20. And that's about it on this chapter. That's the main things you need to remember. So this was a short and sweet one. Group life insurance is next, so stay tuned.